Okay, everybody, this video is intended to clarify a few aspects that we've been having issues with transformations. So the first example that we're going to go over, let's say that we have our f of x. And my f of x has a number that is multiplying it. Okay, let's say a 2 right here. Okay, this 2 is multiplying the whole function, the whole thing, the whole f of x. Well, we know that when that happens, it's because this is actually going to be a vertical change. And since the number that is multiplying is bigger than 1, this will be a vertical stretch. Okay? Now, let's say that this is not the only transformation that we have, the only change that we have. Let's say that we have a plus 10 at the end. Well, I know that when I have an addition to the whole thing or outside of the parentheses, this will be actually a translation up by 10. Because every time that we move up, down, left, or right, we can say how much we're moving. That's why I'm saying in this case it's a 10, it's up by 10. Okay, now here's where things get interesting, because this is where most of you are getting confused. Let's say that I still have a 2 multiplying, but now I have a negative with it. So now I have a negative 2 multiplying. The first thing that everybody needs to know is that this will remain a vertical stretch because of the 2. That negative, though, is going to make something different. What is it going to do? This is going to make a reflection. In this case, because the negative is multiplying everything outside of the parentheses, is going to be a reflection over the x-axis, or over x, which is the same. So now we're going to play with this a little bit for you to understand things probably a little bit better, okay? So let's say first that I don't have a plus 10, okay? Let's say that instead of adding 10, let's say that we are subtracting 10, okay? How would that change? Well, really, not much changes. Because this is no longer going to be up. That negative, what it does, the only change that it does, is that now you're going to be moving down. Hopefully you can see that right. Okay? Let's do one more change. So let's say that instead of me having a 2 multiplying, we no longer have a 2. Let's say that now we have, instead of a 2, 1/2. Okay? So how would that change? Let me fix this. This is still my f of x, okay? So what is going to happen is that we are still going to have a vertical change. But since the number now is between 0 and 1, is no longer going to be a stretch. What is going to be is this is going to be still vertical, but now it's going to be a compression. Okay? And even more important, since we still have that negative right there, this is still going to be a reflection over x. That doesn't change. We still have a negative. So let's do a different example. So let's say that this time I have my f of x, but then inside of my parentheses, I have a number 3 multiplying the x. Okay? First of all, what is that going to be? So we have a number inside of the parentheses. This tells me that I'm going to have a horizontal change. but the number is bigger than 1, which tells me that it's going to be a horizontal compression. Okay. And let's say, let's change this a little bit. Let's say that inside of my parentheses, I have a plus 2. Okay. What is that going to do? Well, now, that plus 2, it is adding inside of the parentheses. Okay. This tells me that this is going to be a translation to the left by 2. Remember, every time that it moves up, down, left, or right, we can say by how much. This is a 2, so it'll be by 2, okay? Okay, so let's say now that I still have this, but what if the 3 happened to have a negative in front of it? So again, this is still going to remain a horizontal compression. You still have a 3 multiplying there. That negative is going to do something different. What? It's going to make a reflection. And since the reflection is, the negative is inside of the parentheses, the reflection will be over the y-axis. Okay? So, what if we start playing with this a little bit? What do I mean? What if instead of me having a 3, let me fix this a little bit. I'm still going to have this here. I'm going to still have a negative. But I no longer have a 3, okay? This is still my x. Oops, sorry. That is still my x. Okay? But we no longer have a 3. Let's say that now, instead of a 3, I have 3/4. So how does that change? Well, now my number is smaller than 1. And how that will change is that I'll no longer have a compression. I'm still going to have a horizontal change, but it won't be a compression. Now it'll be a stretch. And I hope that you are noticing that that negative is still making a reflection over y, and that's not changing. Okay? And the last thing that we are changing, the last thing that we are going to move, okay? So what if instead of me having a plus here, what if I would have a minus? I'm still going to have a translation, but what's changing is that since that went from a positive to a negative, this is no longer going to be to the left. I am adding inside of the parentheses. So that means that now my translation will be to the right. Okay, guys, I hope this helps you to clarify a lot of things.